Welcome. You're listening to The Best of Investing. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Mark Humph of Pacific Private Money. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Use that number to answer the trivia questions for a 5-pack tanning certificate given away during this show. And that certificate's not sponsored by the radio station, but by Tan Bella Tanning Salon with 2 locations in San Francisco and 1 in Marin. Today's trivia theme is entertainment. Now, we do have a special guest. Daron Stenvold, marketing strategist and transformational coach and CEO of Impel Profits. Daron, welcome to The Best of Investing.
Thank you, Edward. Mark, glad to be here.
Yes, hey, tell us a little bit about Impel Profits, and then we'll start asking you some questions.
Well, I work with small businesses, and I find them money, and that's really what we're looking for. And in fact, my line is I can find any business $100,000 in 45 minutes without spending money on marketing and advertising. What we find is there's a lot of money that's trapped inside of businesses, and I'm there to find that.
So is that, Daron, is that how you primarily work with businesses? You're going in there to try to help them be more efficient, or do you help them with marketing, generate leads, or do you do like all kinds of services?
It's pretty much the marketing side typically, but it is cutting costs. There's a lot. We have 40 different areas that we work in. We primarily start off with 12 different areas. And when we do like introductions, kind of the breakthrough where I find the 100,000, that's typically in 3 different areas. I usually find 3 different areas based on the company, and that's what I'll focus on. And we can find $100,000 right there.
Wow. Does it matter what kind of business it is operating, or do you typically work with certain types of businesses?
Not any type of business. It's typically I stick below maybe $8 million businesses, and you can go above that. But once you get there, it's there's a lot more involved, a lot more people, and they typically have their own staff that they pretty much have everything dialed in.
Yeah. Well, my 6-year-old's going to be very happy. She has a lemonade stand, and you're going to find her $100,000.
You know, it's funny because my book is called Finding $10,000. And that's because there are the smaller businesses. And I say, well, if we've got a lot of time and you're planning on being around for a couple of years, I can find you $100,000.
Okay.
And it's about making small incremental changes in your business is what we'll be talking about today.
Okay. So let's just start off. I mean, how can I generate more leads / customers?
Well, when I work with theirs, I talk to people about a conversion equation. And our conversion equation is we need to interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. And interrupting is typically your headline. And when I say headline, that's your website, your marketing, your whatever it's going to be, whether it's a postcard or a letter. You need to do those 4 areas. And then your engage is your subheadline. Your educate, you want to educate them on what's going on. And then you've got to have a compelling offer. It's the thing that you miss so often. I go to people's websites. If you don't have this download now, the way we tell people is 1% of people are now buyers. If they're going to your website, they see something, if they find something intriguing that they want to download, you've got them. You do a drip campaign, you stay in touch with them when they're ready to buy. There you are.
So it sounds like you're kind of both a consultant and a coach.
You know, that's an interesting one. I do actually do consulting, but typically a coach, if you look at the football side, they don't run out in the field and do any of the work. Now, I will help people if they're going to be doing some Facebook stuff or they need some marketing material. I'll actually help them. I've got actually a kind of a separate business that will work on that and do some of that product. But otherwise, I typically coach the people. And, because when you're coaching them, I need to make sure that their business is unique, that it stands out. Now, I won't actually do that. I'm going to kind of dig in and dive down into them and come up with their market dominating position and find these areas. But I coach them on doing that, and then often I will help out.
So are there any particular professional or business coaches that have inspired you or that you've been maybe part of their programs over the years?
I came into this as a fractional sales manager, and I'd owned a resort for 15 years. I was so glad to be out of it. It's year round. I'm in the Minnesota area, is ice fishing, the summer, everything. And I wanted to get back into the executive world. And I started with fractional sales management, and we could never get past the marketing side. Once they got past the marketing side, smaller companies actually let their salespeople go. But I remember when I was in the sales side, they tried blaming the salespeople for so many things, but there's a lot of things that just are misaligned in the company. And once we get those things together, they realize it's not the salesperson. So I kind of transitioned from sales management into the marketing side.
Nice. You got your list of questions there, Edward?
Yeah. So let's see here. Okay, let's go here. So why isn't my marketing working like it used to? What's changed?
Like that one.
Yeah.
So people change, times change. And for any type of marketing work, you have to make sure that we're staying up with the times. We're all going through the whole COVID thing, and we saw businesses, some just flourished and some, just didn't know what to do. You found restaurants opening up their first drive-through that they've never had before. You found delis doing delivery services. So you kind of have to stay up with that. And I kind of go to my the conversion equation that we talked about, but basically you have to grab the customer's attention, the prospect's attention. If you're not grabbing that attention, and the attention is different times, takes different types of things. And then it has to help them gather information and make the right decisions. I always let everybody know your competitor's one click away. I don't care if you're a retail store or what, it's always one click away. You watch people inside of stores, they're looking at their phone. And we need to get people to understand that it's not the price that sells. It's going to be the service. It's going to be the bundle. It's going to be the package deal that's really going to be selling. So you really have to stay on top of that. And that's what's going to be helping your marketing.
All right. Hey, guys, we're going to cut to our first commercial break. Here's our first trivia question. And oh, by the way, Daron, if you know the answer, don't say anything. We'll let you answer when we come back from break. All right. What famous ex-boyfriend of Jennifer Aniston once guest starred on the TV show Friends? So she was an ex-boyfriend on the TV show with Jennifer Aniston on the show Friends. Who was that? And you'll know this person. All right, call 888-912-1190. The first caller with the correct answer is going to win that tanning certificate. Again, one more time. What famous ex-boyfriend of Jennifer Aniston once guest starred on the TV show Friends? All right, stay with us. You are listening to The Best of Investing. Daron Stenvold and Mark Hanf, and I will be right back. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to The Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, along with Mark Hanf and our special guest, Daron Stenvold. Here's our first trivia question, guys. What famous ex-boyfriend of Jennifer Aniston once guest starred on the TV show Friends?
Daron, do you know that one?
Actually, my wife would, but I don't follow it.
The answer is Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. That's very good. That is correct.
I agree with it.
It was a great episode, too.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
That was fun.
Mark, why don't you go ahead and ask Daron?
Sure. So I'm going to ask you a question that pretty much on every small business owner's mind, and that is, how can I make more money in my business?
The first thing I hit people up, stop discounting. It's
Whoa.
People buy on value. They don't buy on price. And you're going to chase yourself down to the bottom. Owning a restaurant for 15 years, you really get to understand margins, and you need to understand that the pricing is, you can only go so far. And at that point you start, doing quality, and especially kind of looking in the restaurant business, and all of a sudden you got cheap, bad food.
I think about those packs of coupons that you get. And if it says, 2-for-1 dinner, and you go, hey, great, I'm going to try it out. The thing is, generally speaking, you don't want to go back there again until you find another coupon, because you don't want to pay full price. Don't you find that?
Absolutely. In fact, there's a certain company out there that just promotes you do it extremely cheap. And bottom line is, people run out to that organization. All they do is keep on going, all the great deals. They never come back for anything else. So people get trained on these deals. And you're exactly right. If it's a 2-for-1 and they know they do it every month, and that little flyer, they're going to wait for the flyer.
I remember there was a gym across the street from my office, and the owner was handing out free workout coupons, and he just couldn't give them away. And I told him, I said, you know what? I said, don't hand them out for free. I said, charge $5, which is not so much, but it'll get people to go, you know what? If I spend the $5, I'm going to actually use it.
There you go.
And it's something of value.
Yep. There's an incredible story in that. The billboards that are up on the highways, the company that has those, they take them down every month, right? And they get all these big canvas tarp things right on the interstate 35 or 94, and they had a big sign, free tarps. These things were piling up because the garbage men couldn't take them. They couldn't dispose of them. And he finally decided, he thought of what his dad had told him. He put up tarps, $20, $30, and $40 based on the size. And farmers grabbed them all the time for their hay bales and stuff like that. All of a sudden they weren't there. I was using them for the resort. So I'd come down. It's like, hey, what happened to all the banners? I use these things. I love them. I use them for landscape. I use them in our pole shed. Did all these things with them. Goes, can't keep them in stock now. I started charging for them.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're exactly right. So, discounting it is the big one. Now, I work with what I call the five-step profit formula. More leads, more conversions, more transactions, higher prices, more profits. Notice I said higher prices.
Yeah.
It's one of the tough ones that when I try and talk to people on that, they just don't think they can do it. But when you run the numbers and realize what a small percentage does and the number of people that you lose, and guess who you lose? The cheapest people who are always your biggest problems.
Well, interesting, Mark. I mean, in your business, Pacific Private Money, you had even mentioned at some point that it's like you're not the low cost leader with regard to doing loans.
No, that's right. And you've hit it right on the head, Daron. And it really is hard. It's even hard for like some of my loan officers. They want to know what's the lowest price they can sell. They're always trying to beat out somebody else. And our best and most profitable loan agents, the guys that make, several $100,000 a year out here in California, they don't sell on price. They're great salespeople. It's their first thing when someone pitches them a loan and they know they can do it, they say, well, they'll go, I got great news for you. I can get you the loan, and then they go on, they tell them, first you got to hook them. And so it's not about price, but people who fear selling, to them, they feel like it's all about price.
Yeah, and McDonald's was the first big king leader. You want fries with that. Joke as much as you want about it.
Yeah.
Take a look at what fries cost. They're $4 and a burger costs you $2. They've got great fries and you put it in a bundle and that's what, make a meal out of it. And that's what happens. So it's just interesting on the, stop discounting and say, well, that's how I get sales. You got to raise your prices. Well, for crying out loud, we're going backwards here, aren't we? But, you really have, so I've got 6 options for increasing your revenue. You got your increased prices. You can sell more stuff. You can lower the break-even point, use exponential growth, and you track accounts receivable and leverage your P&L. The P&L, I owned a resort for 15 years. I never had my P&L in line. I'd always said, I wish I knew me back when I owned the resort. But the leveraging the P&L, there's one about if you have a business that has 10% margins and, that's being ultra conservative, but for every dollar that they reduce in expenses, that's $10 increase in revenues. So you leveraging the P&L and understanding that and realizing that all you got to do is reduce expenses by $1. You can actually put $10 in the bottom line. So those are increasing profits.
Okay. So how do I make my business or product different from my competitors?
So when you do that, when we have what we call market dominating position. And if you go to people's websites, go to a dentist, go to 5 dentists, go to, 5 therapists and look at their websites. They're the same. We call that platitudes. And what I always tell people when you do your marketing against a website, whatever it is, to be different, if you say, I hope so, I call it the I hope so test. Best service in the industry. Well, I hope so. You can't do that. You've got to find yourself something different. So there are words, phrases, and images that convey power, precision, and passion. You need to find something like that. And typically I work with a client for 3 to 4 sessions just to get started on a market dominating position. And that's actually digging deep, finding out what you can do. But when I get that I hope so quiz, it really cleans up a lot. I mean, it's just slapping their head constantly. It's like, well, on-time service. I hope so.
Well, kind of reminds me of looking in the want ads and seeing wanted brain surgeon, no experience necessary, will train. It's like maybe low cost leader on that one, not so much. Okay, guys, hey, we're going to cut to our second commercial break here. What was the official name of the first Indiana Jones movie? What was the first name? All right. What was the official name? Excuse me, of the first Indiana Jones movie. Call 888-912-1190. First caller with correct answer is going to win that tanning certificate, which is worth over $100. And want to make a mention here for Live Life at the Mount View Hotel and Spa in Calistoga. Every afternoon they have vino and vinyl wine tasting. And when you're ready for a change of scenery, make yourself at home at the Mount View Hotel and Spa in Calistoga, making memories for 100 years. And what they do sometimes is when the weather gets a little better on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, they have an outdoor movie theater. It's kind of cool. I think they do it near the pool. And if you've never been there, it's one of the nicest pools around. Check them out at mountviewhotel.com. All right, stay with us. The Best of Investing is going to be right back. Welcome back to the Best of Investing one more time. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Homp of Pacific Private Money. And our second trivia question, what was the official name of the first Indiana Jones movie? Go ahead.
You already know that one?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm tapping out again. I should know this one because I know them all, but geez.
Temple of Doom, isn't it?
No.
Doom? Not Temple of Doom?
No.
Oh.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a trick question. All
A
right.
trick question.
It was Indiana Jones, the Temple of Doom was the next one, right?
Temple of Doom was the second one, I think.
Okay,
I'm
all
sure.
right. Forgot about it.
So before I ask you the next question, Daron, how do people get a hold of you? Because you also have a book that we want to help promote for you.
Yes, actually, that'd be great. I actually have a book that's how you can find $10,000 in 45 minutes. And it's actually a book that gives you step-by-step and the ways to do all this stuff so you don't actually need a coach. And that's actually at impelprofits.com, and you can download that book at impelprofits.com. And the book is 8 Tips to $10,000. It's a marketing strategist's best kept secrets.
So Impel, that's IMPEL, profits.com?
Correct. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, that's very good. So what should I say when someone asks me, what do I do? My wife does that all the time to me.
Yeah.
What do you do every day?
Well, that's actually another good one. So what it is it's really kind of going back to that market dominating position. Realtor, I sell homes, and it just doesn't get anybody anywhere. It's like I could say I'm a business coach, and I help businesses grow. I actually get deeper. I save businesses. But if you really want to get down to it, what do you do? My name's Daron Stenvold. I'm a business development expert. I change lives, I save lives, and I find people lots of money. So now I'm not just saying I'm a coach. It's like, okay, so business development expert. I also have a software program where I can find you a minimum of $100,000, and I find it in under 45 minutes. So I can kind of break that apart. That would be multiple ones. But what I'm telling you is how I can help you rather than what I do. And so then I kind of break those things in, and depending on where it is, or I want to go the software route, or my just canned generic one is I find businesses $100,000 in less than 45 minutes without spending $1 on marketing or advertising.
Okay, so now that's like for you. So for Mark Hahn from Pacific Private Money, it might be something like I help people get into their houses a lot faster than the bank.
Well, we have one that actually that resonates a lot with what Daron is talking about. At one point, we wrote up kind of like we switched around our mission from something really boring to like we're in the business of improving people's futures. And
Perfect. I think I have that in a quote someplace for once because that's you're helping people. It's a good one. That's very good.
No, that's exactly right. And so I love what you say about that, because really it's how can I get someone excited about what I do? I mean, just, I sell real estate doesn't say that you help people, achieve their dreams. And,
you save businesses yourself. I mean, if they didn't get that funding, if something doesn't happen, I say save lives, and sadly to say, but I think we know this, small businesses, the amount of suicide that's in there, and it's financial. It's because they can't make it. There's bad things that happen. Family divorces happen, 10x over loss, 100x over loss of money than it does loss of love. So that's why I throw that in there. I change lives, I save lives, and I find people lots of money because people want to find money. So yeah, you can use that one too. I find people lots of money. Like, how do you find it? Well, you sign the documents, you do this, but it's something that hits people, here, and they want to know more.
Yeah.
I want to ask this question. How do I get my prospects to actually buy rather than look?
So we kind of mentioned this before, and I always love leaning on McDonald's because they've got bundles. You come in, it's like, oh, I see that burger. Oh, wait a minute, I wasn't even hungry. But on the other hand, if you got this whole package put together, so
Yeah.
I say bundles and scarcity would kind of be the two. And keeping in mind, and we always see scarcity. Call now before the timer runs zero. It's like, really, it's an online course. There are going to be as many as possible. But people don't think of that when they see it. It kind of shows how you can do it. Sign up today or else. And it works. It's a mental part of your mind that does it. Those TV ads where they have that little countdown timer. You get so anxious. Auctions, they're clicking off. You have to hit it when you can. So that's how you really got to get people to buy. You got to hit that button, make them realize they've got to do it, or it's not going to happen. And again,
having
keeping in
12
mind,
million widgets left, that's not going to push them to make them a decision.
because you're going to make more.
It works. You're right that it works. So I belong to a marketing organization, and one of the members is a public speaking coach. And at the meeting I was at the other day, he said, I've got, we're raising our prices next year. It was actually the end of last year. And he said, I'm going to give away, or I'm offering, 8 subscriptions at this price, and then it's going up. And that it's probably not true, but he sold out all 8. Because I bought one of them.
he probably sold 28 of them too, because he's not.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. So whether it's, this offer is only good until, the end of day tomorrow, or, I'm offering 8 at this price, we've all heard it 100 times, but it really works. And I know, because I've heard it 100 times and I'm still a victim of it, or at least it motivates me to action, to do something that, that I feel there's value there.
Yeah, I would say a victim. Yeah, just say it motivates.
Definitely not a victim. Yeah.
And another one I like to tell people is there's a problem that your customers have and they don't want, and there's a result that they want but don't have. So if you kind of keep that and play that, and if they have they need to have this problem solved, they're going to buy. They're not going to be looking, because you're going to solve a problem. And you're not going to drive home without gas in your car, so you're going to get gas when you need it. But you unfortunately don't sell that.
Daron, give out your information one more time, because you've got a wealth of knowledge of marketing that people might want to tap into. Go ahead.
Again, Daron Stenvold at impelprofits.com. That's IMPEL profits.com. And you can download a free book and learn all this information. All my secret sauces and recipes are all in there.
Love it.
That's a great website. I visited it myself, and you absolutely can. I'm going to be downloading your book as well.
Very good. Okay, here's our third trivia question. How long did it take Red, if you remember the movie Shawshank Redemption, how long did Red estimate it would take to tunnel one's way through the walls of the prison in the film The Shawshank Redemption? So you had to see the movie, and he said something to the tune of, I estimate it would take X amount of years to tunnel through the prison. All right. That's our trivia question. 888-912-1190. First caller with the correct answer wins that training certificate. Stay with us. The Best of Investing is going to be right back. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Edward Brown, along with Mark Hahn, and our special guest, Daron Stenvold. Third trivia question. How long did Red estimate it would take to tunnel one's way through the walls of the prison in the film The Shawshank Redemption? You remember that? Yes.
What I do know about The Shawshank Redemption isn't like one of the top 5 films. If you ever ask someone what's your favorite film, it's
great. It's a great movie.
It's the politically correct one to say that. Godfather. You always wonder how many people have ever actually seen it. I know you and I have seen it.
I've seen it a couple of times. Yeah.
Surprisingly, I don't know the answer to that.
600 years. Yeah, he estimated, because he had a little rock hammer, and he estimated it would take about 600 years to tunnel through the walls. All right, so we want to update the audience. Mark from Pacific Private Money, give us an update of what's going on in the real estate loan business.
Well, gosh, I think it's gas prices and mortgage prices are going up, and actually quite a bit. I mean, gas maybe more than mortgage prices, although, I mean, we were talking on the Best of Investing not too long ago about mortgage rates still being under 3%. They hit 4.6% this week. So we don't know if that's a temporary kind of overcorrection and that maybe it'll settle back down a little bit again before going back up maybe later in the year as they start moving interest rates again upward. But on the private side, in the alternative space, we have not yet, most of us anyway, have not yet adjusted our prices, although we're talking about it. So it was interesting. We don't, private money and alternative real estate loans don't track necessarily with what the mortgage market's doing. It's really, again, it's a supply and demand thing. If we have enough capital from our investors and we're looking to put it out to work, we will we'll rent out that money at the price that, we think will get us the best deal. So,
well, at some point, don't you think that the banks will have to raise the interest rate to the depositors to the extent that individual investors?
But our investors are already asking that because when I first got into this business 15 years ago, our investors averaged 10% on their dollar invested, in a private money loan. Then that number went down to 9, then it went to 8, and then 7. And right now we're paying our investors roughly 6% in 2 of our funds, although we have 2 other funds that are paying 7.5, and one's paying actually 10, our construction loan fund called the North Star Fund. So for, just again, for more information about how you can earn, 6% or more, up to 10% on your savings in a real estate secured fund, go to pacificprivatemoney.com. That's pacificprivatemoney.com, all one word. But we're super busy. So our loan volume last year in 2021 doubled the prior year, and we may double it again this year. And that's not unusual, an unusual story among our peers in the industry. It's just the alternative finance marketplace. The demand is still very, very high, and it's not necessarily because of housing inventory, as we know, is tight. Home prices are high. There's a lot going on in the market right now, and people are wondering, well, where's this going to end? Are we in a bubble? How much can higher prices? How much higher can prices go? And people are struggling to try to even find houses. Inventory is at an all-time low. Notwithstanding all of that, there's still enough demand among people out there that are making things happen in real estate that businesses like ours that market themselves and provide this level of service that we do, we're super busy and it's great. So we're definitely out there, beating the bushes, raising more capital, looking for investors because all of our loans are funded 100% by individual investor capital who get great returns on their money, secured by real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. So getting into that, when you make loans, how often do you have to foreclose on the loans that your company makes?
Not as often as people might think. You say, well, it's a hard money loan and you make loans to people with poor credit. Maybe they got one foot into bankruptcy and, they're desperate for the money. There are people out there like that need capital for different reasons, and they're in some form of distress financially, but we actually look more for other forms of distress, like they need a loan really fast, or their bank financing fell through. They've got a glitch in their credit, but it's not bad credit. It's just something that was unexpected that they didn't know about. There's just a lot of reasons why people can't get bank financing. I mean, unless you're out there trying to borrow money on a regular basis as a real estate investor, you have no idea how difficult it actually is for many people, especially if you're self-employed. It's just so hard to get bank financing for real estate, especially on the investor side. Most real estate investors come to companies like ours. And even people who are buying a home will come to us for a short-term bridge loan because we help people compete with cash buyers. So if you want to compete with cash buyer, right, you can move. We help people who want to buy their next home before they sell their existing home by giving them a loan up to 100% of the purchase price if they have equity in their existing home. So we can do a loan. Let's say you want to buy a home for $1 million and you have $500,000 of equity in your existing home. We can make you a loan for that $1 million to buy your next home. And cross-collateralize it with your existing home. It's one loan secured by two properties. It's a very, very popular loan. We're doing lots of those loans every month. And that way you can, with your agent, you can buy your next home, move right in, then go back and clean up and refresh your other home. Now you're not living in it, and staged and vacant homes sell for more money. So our clients actually, for most transactions, they make more money by using a bridge loan that might cost them 8% and a couple of points. So it's really, it's a great tool for people. And, you know, that's just an example of what's really interesting and unique about, you know, private lending, or the whole alternative real estate lending market space, is that we have the ability, unlike banks, to be very subjective and listen to the story. And if we like the story, then we generally can make the loan. So we don't do like thousands of loans like, you know, on the conventional side of the business. We do dozens of loans every month, all of which we vet individually. And a real person is looking at it, you know, hearing the story, contacting the borrower or their representative to make sure, you know, why they need the money. And if they need it, want it, and can benefit from it, then we're very likely to do the loans.
So the borrowers are not just a bunch of numbers. They're not a bunch of X's and O's.
No.
They're real people.
This is like banking was 50 years ago, when you walked into the bank and you knew the banker behind the desk, and you sat down and you said, "Hey, Joe, I need a loan for this reason." And you know, if they liked the story, they generally said yes. Well, they knew you were an upstanding citizen in town. Your home was worth this much, and this is what you needed the money for. And, you know, it's a great little business.
How do people get a hold of you if they either want a loan or if they want to invest in one of your funds?
Yeah, real simple. So pacificprivatemoney.com, all one word, pacificprivatemoney.com. That's if you want to find out more about how our real estate loans work. And if you've got a real estate transaction you're considering, come to us. And if you're looking to earn higher yields on your savings, we got 4 different funds to choose from. So give us a look, pacificprivatemoney.com.
Very good. All right, audience, stay with us. The Best of Investing will be back with some closing comments. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with my co-host Mark Humph of Pacific Private Money, and our special guest, Daron Stenvold. So Daron, you actually have a little offer for the audience, don't you?
Yes, I actually do. You know, we've been working with Small Business Breakthrough magazine, and we're working with them on a grant program right now. And I've been allocated several of these, and I believe I've got 6 or 7 of these left right now, but it's a $5,000 grant. And if you contact me at theimpelleprofits.com, we can go ahead and get you submitted. I'll send you a link, and we can get that information filled out and see if we can't get that grant. And that can actually be used for, we actually have an e-learning system that's completely for those do-it-yourselfers, or you can work with a coach. We also have group coaching, and it can be applied for any of those. And we've been working with Small Business Breakthrough magazine for about 10 years, and they've been wonderful. And we just love what they're doing for us and for some of our clients.
Very cool. Again, one more time, how do people get a hold of you?
It's at Impel Profits, IMPEL profits.com, and at Daron at impelprofits.com as well, DARON, if you want to shoot me an email.
Very good.
That's awesome. That's a great offer. Hard to pass that one up. Small business owners looking for coaching on how to make more money, and you could potentially qualify for a $5,000 grant. You know, that's better than a poke in the eye any day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, if they got 2 of them, there's your 10,000 that you find, right?
Yeah.
I was kind of curious about how, you know, you said that if you save $1 of expense, you increase your income tenfold. And is that basically?
That's basically when you look at the P&L. That's why P&Ls are so important. When you drop in the numbers, and it's one of the things I do, is we actually have a little P&L statement set up, and we show these numbers, because that's how it actually works, because you got your 10% margin. And that's why typically market dominating position and cutting costs are typically the very first 2 things I always work with on clients, because they've got the biggest, most immediate results. And when you take a look at those and see how they work out, that's what works out wonderful. But that's again the power of the P&L statement.
Yeah, you could probably look at just about any one of our, credit card statements, and I think we're all guilty of this. I know I am too. We've got business credit cards and personal credit cards, and auto pay. Half the time I go on there and I go, damn, I'm still paying that stupid charge.
Yep.
I canceled that months ago. It's like there's just a lot of. I think we're all guilty of a little bit of waste just because it's just a pain. It's a pain to cancel things nowadays.
Yep. And it's the exact thing that we do. What you said, we go grab your credit card statement, let's run through it, and it's like you said, but it's such an easy thing to do, but people just don't do it.
Yeah.
When they do it, like, oh yeah, and then they're usually embarrassed too. I don't want to do this, and don't have excuse for anything. Just admit it and decide. And then when they realize how it affects their bottom line, then they get excited about it.
I just figured out too that I don't have to pay for my AOL email anymore. I just figured that out. Don't they? Or am I still? Do I still pay $1 a minute for dial-up? I got to remember.
That's right. Long distance. That was the thing. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, cell phones are a real big one. You got like trash companies or people that have like HVAC companies, things like that. We talk to them. They've got 30, 40 phones out there. They've never thought of calling up 3 competitors and say, I've got 30 phones. I want a new rate. They save thousands and thousands of dollars. They never even thought of calling. They just keep adding a phone, stick with the same program. And it's very easy. They'll switch all the numbers over. They'll take care of it all for you. You just switch all the phones in one day. Have all the guys bring in the phones.
You couldn't take your phone number with you. They kind of had you as a captive audience, but nowadays you definitely can.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Daron, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on the phone, via Zoom here for our show. Here's our thoughts for the day. Doing what you like is freedom. Liking what you do is happiness, said cartoonist Frank Tiger. I don't know who that is, but that's a good saying. And confidence comes not from always being right, but from not fearing to be wrong, said author Peter T. McIntyre.
All right.
We have funny ones, but these are a little bit more thoughts for the real thoughts for the day. All right. Tune in next week to The Best of Investing. We're going to be giving away more free prizes for answering trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown. We're wishing you the best of investing. So long.